Welcome to Sports Take, Calm Radio sports debate show with your hosts, Connor DeKranis, Darius, and Ariel Epstein.
And we are here on Sports Take.
What's
I'm your
going
host,
on?
Ariel Epstein, here with Connor DeKranis, Darius Donaldson.
Hello,
Oh,
everybody.
man. So excited to be back today, man.
This is our
We're
last
excited
show.
to be back, but last show, guys, so we're going to make
Jeez.
it a good one.
It's gonna be jam-packed.
Not only is our last show, but Darius over here is graduating.
Oh,
He's going
man.
to be a real person.
This is bittersweet right now, man.
Well, we only have a half hour, so let's just kick it right off. So
All right.
we have the NBA playoffs going on right now, and it's been pretty crazy. Lots of surprises, lots of people looking good. So
Lots of things going down.
let's start with Darius. Darius, what are your thoughts so
What's
far,
up?
and who looks best?
Man, when I'm looking at the playoffs, I've seen there's been a lot of good games so far. And to be honest, the team that looks the best right now, I mean, they're not a top team, so it's kind of surprising, but I'm going to have to say the Wizards, man. The Wizards are very, very impressive
It's funny
this year.
you say that because that is my exact opinion. The Wizards are looking really good right now.
They are.
Like,
It's so
surprisingly
surprising.
good.
Yeah, surprisingly good. And they're playing against a great Bulls team. Well, maybe not great. A good Bulls team.
A good
What's-
Bulls team. They'd
why-
be great if they
A
had
great
Darius.
What's
defensive
making
Bulls
it so
team.
surprising?
What's making it so right? Because they're doing it in ways that I just never thought. I mean, I'm like, Wizards, they're going to get bounced. For real, I thought they probably were going to get swept. I didn't think they had a chance to really do anything, especially not in Chicago. To come in and steal the first two games on the road, it's crazy. And John Wall is going to be a superstar. He is. If
No,
he's
yeah.
not already.
I mean, we almost knew that in college, too.
Yeah. Do the John. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. All
and
that
after
good
the
stuff.
2-point victory in overtime, do you think that they're going to win the series?
Man.
When the away team wins the first two games away, I forget the exact number, but it's some like 80%, something crazy.
The momentum.
Actually, I
is
think
crazy.
there's only been 3 teams in the history that have ever come back from being down 2-0 after losing both games at home.
Yeah.
So I think the last team to do it was the Mavs in like 04, 05, something like that.
Yeah. It's
So
crazy.
I mean, can I see them coming back? No, I
You
really
don't see the
can't.
Bulls coming back?
No, I really don't.
Yeah.
Coming
I mean,
back
you
and,
figure.
coming back and winning the series? No.
I
Coming
mean,
back, maybe winning
yeah.
a game or two, maybe.
I mean, I've been talking to some inside sources, you know, some people who really are some Wizard diehard fans, and they're just like, yo, we're gonna be in the building when they come back to Washington D.C. When's the next game? Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Pretty sure it's
Might
tomorrow.
be the day after.
Day after tomorrow. But yeah, so they're just like, yo, it's gonna be bananas in the house. We're gonna go crazy, and I just feel like with that crowd behind them, it's going down.
Yeah,
So-
the
They're gonna
levels
take
in that
game-
arena are going to be absolutely
Yeah,
crazy.
they're gonna take Game 3 for sure.
So after this, this team is shocking you guys, but is this the series you have your eyes on, or is there some other series that you're looking out on?
To be honest, I mean, were you gonna answer?
I mean, right,
I'm sorry.
right now I'm looking at the Brooklyn-Toronto series.
Okay.
The first 2 games were pretty close. Pierce went off at the end of the first to put up the nets and win
See,
the
I didn't
game.
get a chance to watch any of those.
They've been
those
really
games yet.
good.
Really?
Yesterday, game was close all game, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last couple minutes, Toronto kind of pulled away. DeRozan went off, and they pulled away.
That's my boy.
So that series is 1-1 right now. That series is
Yep.
looking really nice right now.
All right, I'm gonna have to go with the OKC Memphis matchup, man.
That is my second option.
They are brawling down there. I mean, KD, the shot was ridiculous.
That 4-point
so
play
ridiculous,
was
yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, just watching that, I didn't see it live, so I kind of missed the in-game feel of it. But when I saw the highlight, I was like, yo, is this for real? He was getting pushed out of bounds.
I mean, to be fair, that's almost completely luck. He wasn't even looking at the
Yeah.
basket.
He just kinda
but he just kind of
grabbed
chucked
it.
it up and
Yeah.
happened to go down.
But they still lost, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just like Memphis is playing.
They're
going
playing
hard.
to win.
Yeah.
They don't care who they're playing. You know, some teams will go up against teams
Oh, yeah.
like the Thunder or the Heat or the Pacers and be
Yep.
like, wow,
And
we
I
don't
think,
have a chance. Memphis, that isn't their mindset right now.
Yep.
They're out there to win.
So one team we haven't really spoken about is the Heat. Do you see anyone stopping LeBron and his Heat anytime before the championship game?
To be honest, I mean, right now the only team that could really do it are the Pacers, which they seem to have their hands full with Atlanta right now. You know, I think a lot of people thought the Pacers were just going to kind of walk all over Atlanta, but that's not the case at
We're
all.
actually going to talk about the Pacers next, but we'll talk about them right after Connor's opinion on this.
I'm going to say that, and I'm not saying this because I'm a fan. I'm going to say that the Brooklyn Nets could beat the Heat. The reason I'm saying that is
Really?
because,
They
because
swept
of the
them
fact that they
the season
swept them in the
series.
season series 4-0.
I just don't. I'm not buying it.
You know what
the
I mean?
playoffs are a different time
No,
of year.
it's completely different, but the fact that they were the first team to win 4 games in a season against the Heat.
Yeah.
So is there
I mean,
something that
that's
makes
big.
them match up well against them?
I mean, I'm just interested. Real quick, I'm just interested in seeing how the Nets are going to look after if they do make it out of this first round. Because the age and stuff, it seems like they're going to be a little bit battered.
Toronto's playing really well, but I feel like the Nets will be able to pull it off.
Are you biased?
I'm a little bit.
I feel like you're a little biased.
I'm a very little bit biased, but you have to look at the fact that they won 4 games against the Heat.
He's biased with a touch of facts.
I mean, if there were no facts, backing it up, I would completely lay off of it. But the fact that they swept them in the season,
they match up well. They match up well.
They also match up well. First team to do that against LeBron's Heat. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, so now back to the Pacers.
The Pacers.
Their head coach right now, Frank Vogel, is on the fence. And, I mean, after hearing talk about him all week and the past few weeks, because the end of the season, they started off strong at the beginning, but now 16 and 14 since the All-Star break. And what do you think? Do you think this guy's job's in jeopardy, and do you think he will be there next year? Or what is it going to take for him to hold on?
I don't believe his job's in jeopardy. This is a great team, and it all starts with him. You know what I mean? All these guys on the roster, they believe in Frank Vogel and what's going on with him.
I think the main thing that goes for him right now is they're playing well in the playoffs. I mean, the first game, not so much, but they really bounced back. Paul George bounced back tremendously.
As the number 1 seed.
If they get it, I think Darius can agree with me. If they get out of this first round, I think Vogel's pretty safe.
Yeah.
At least for the first part of
this is going to be an ugly first round, though, because Jeff Teague and those guys and Paul Millsap and those guys, they don't really care who the Pacers are.
They're not going away.
Exactly.
I mean, they have nothing to lose. It's that classic 1v8. They have absolutely nothing to lose.
I'm with you on that.
So, I mean, as of right now, he's not in the hot seat. Can he be in the future? If they lose the next 3 games, sure.
Really?
And, okay, so now moving on to, we touched on it before, Memphis heads home tied 1-1 with OKC. Do the Grizzlies have a shot at the series win?
Man, the way the West is set up, I feel like anyone can win. I mean, it's like there's no set favorite. I mean, of course, San Antonio probably looks the best, but right now, I can see Memphis knocking out OKC. It'll be a dogfight. They almost got them last year, correct? They went down to the wire last, I think, Game 6 or something like that. Like, they're always in a good series, so.
No, I agree.
I can see it happen.
I agree 100%. I mean, the West is always crazy every single year.
Yep.
Especially the last 5 years. Year in and year out, it's crazy. Teams are knocking teams
Real
off.
quick, how do you think this year compares to the years previous? I feel like this year is really just wide open. Like the way the Blazers are set up and Golden State looks, it's
so far. I mean, it is early. That's, to be honest, what I don't like that too much about the NBA playoffs. It takes forever for a series to end.
I love the first round.
The problem with the first round is that there's 3 or 4 days in between games.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, the NHL playoffs are on right now. One series is already over, and it already started. It only started 2 days before the NBA playoffs.
Right.
So that's almost inexcusable to me.
Before we head into the NHL playoffs, which will be Connor's little segment, we will talk about the big story of the week, the Knicks firing Mike Woodson. I mean, I think everyone kind of saw it coming, especially with Phil Jackson coming in, and he's going to try to build that team up from the bottom up. Other than your opinions also, I mean, I want your opinions on Mike Woodson being fired, but what are your opinions? There have been stories this week about the team owner and Jackson already bashing heads. So how do you guys feel about it?
I mean, Dolan is absolutely going to bash heads with Jackson. They both have differing opinions, and I mean,
who would you go with? Who's the
Jackson.
You got to go with Phil. You got to let the ring speak for themselves.
To be honest, I don't care what the owner says. I care what the 11-time championships.
Exactly.
That's what I care about.
That's why he was hired.
13 as a player and coach.
Yeah, 13 as a player and coach.
So how's his opinion? What do you think then of his decision to fire Mike Woodson?
Oh, well, I mean, a couple weeks ago, Darius, I believe we had a conversation
we
about
did.
And I believe I said that he would be fired.
You did. I was like...
So Connor's 2-0 this year in predictions.
We got to start... Just hit my knee off the desk. But yeah, we have to start tallying those things up so we can keep tabs on what's happening.
I was the only one who called the Super Bowl. I remember that.
You did.
I remember that.
We all were on the Peyton Manning bandwagon.
that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I agree with it, as I did in the past. I mean, Mike Woodson is a very good assistant coach. The head coach of a squad.
So he's not a head coach?
He's not a head coach. He's an assistant coach.
I see. I just don't know, man. I really feel like Mike Woodson is not the problem. And I said this before. I was on record saying that he's not the problem. Nothing can help the Knicks. If you bring in another coach, you can bring in Phil Jackson, whatever you got to do. But I think they really have to start from the bottom up.
See, that's going to be the interesting thing, though, is we can go back and forth all we want, but we're not going to really see until they get a new coach in there.
Yeah.
See how they do with a new coach.
Did you hear about them talking to Steve Kerr about possibly making
Yeah.
him their first coach?
Yep.
His first coaching job, giving him his first coaching job.
So then what do you think of the future, not only of, well, we'll go 2 things, and then we're going to have to go to the NHL. What's the future of Melo, and what's the future of the Knicks?
Melo's gone.
Thank you.
he's out of there.
As soon as he's gone, is that another tally for my predictions? Or
I think we're both going to get a tally mark on this one. 'Cause I'm pretty sure that I said the same thing. He was out.
Yeah, no, you did.
Yeah.
I mean, as for Melo, I agree. As I've said in the past, he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
As
Jackson even said he's not going to try to give him some major contract.
Yeah, and I completely agree with Jackson. As for the Knicks as an organization, you can't really get much lower than they are right now. So there's only really up from here. Yeah. So they'll get better. Every team does. Every team goes through a little bit of a slump.
I mean, the Knicks haven't exactly been all that good the past 10 years or so.
No.
But
I would say more than, I would say 30 years. But
I was trying to be generous. We got a lot of New York listeners out there.
Okay, so let's go on to the next playoffs going on right now. The NHL playoffs are going on at the same time. First, Montreal, the Canadian success. What do you think, Connor?
I mean, they looked really good against the Lightning. They swept them, obviously. Any time a team sweeps another team, it's a pretty big deal.
When you're sweeping somebody,
especially in a game like hockey, because it's really anybody's game, night in and night out.
Yes,
it doesn't matter if you're a 1 seed, a 2 seed, a 3. It doesn't matter what seed you are. Darius, have you been watching hockey lately?
I've been following my Penguins. I have.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
And actually, we're up 3-0 on the Blue Jackets right now. So let's go.
2-1, I think, but.
So then.
3-0 as far as the game right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what's the series to look out for? Right
I was gonna say. I think you're wrong, but.
Oh no, I got your back, bro. We're up 2-1.
What's the series to look at right now? What's the one to watch? What's the team to watch?
To me, there's 2 series. I'll go East and West. In the West, I would look at the Blues and the Blackhawks because the Blues look outstanding right now, but the Blackhawks are one of those teams that don't die. They don't die. You can stab them as many times as you want, and they're just not going to die.
They won't go down.
And they're only down 2-1, and I could definitely see that going 6 or 7. So I think that could be a very interesting series to watch. As for the East, the classic rivalry, Flyers-Rangers, it's 2-1 right now, Rangers, and that's going to be a very good series, too, to watch. So those are 2 great ones to watch.
Oh, yeah. Let's check it out, man.
And early playoff Stanley Cup Finals predictions based on the first round so far.
Based on who looks the hottest. Let's see. Yep. I'm going to say the Sharks in the West because they are absolutely running over the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from last night's game, it went to overtime, which they won. But the 2 games before that, they scored 13 goals in the first 2 games, which, I mean, that's incredible for any team. So I'm going to say the Sharks in the West.
Yep.
In the East is a little bit more wide open, but you have to go with the Bruins. Looked amazing the last half of the season. Look amazing right now against the Red Wings.
And what's the series right now with the Red Wings?
They're
2-1.
2-1, yeah.
Okay. Well, that was our take on the current
2-1
playoffs.
Bruins, I should say. It's Bruins. Make sure you get that in there.
Well, that was our segment on the playoffs, and now you're all updated on the playoff situation going on in America. So we'll be right back after the break. Happy schedule day. We'll be talking about the NFL schedules coming out in the next 15 minutes, and a little bit of Major League Baseball, some records being made, some players returning to their old team stadiums. So, and a brawl that happened this week. So we'll be right back after the break.
Now back to Sports Take on Com Radio.
And happy schedule day, everybody.
Hey.
NFL schedules will be coming out in 15 minutes.
It's also hump day.
And I know that everyone is... Oh, come on, Darius.
Hump day?
I know that everyone is looking out for these schedules. Everyone's interested. And we're just... Other than Connor.
Why?
Connor doesn't like talking about the NFL unless it ranges from the months of maybe the end of August.
I'll go July.
Okay,
I'll go
July. Oh, you don't talk about. He doesn't talk about the NFL draft either.
No, but that's a 1 week period. That's about a 1 to 2 week period where I'll talk about the NFL draft.
Okay, so 1 week in the month of May, he will talk about the draft.
We'll the average.
And then until August, don't talk to him about the NFL. And then after February, don't talk to him about the NFL.
Don't you do it.
Okay, so,
there's
but
a
I'm
lot
going
of
to make
Major
Connor
League
talk
sports.
about the NFL. So, we'll start with Darius, though.
Yo.
Darius, who would you like to see play the toughest schedule?
Who would I like to see play the toughest schedule?
Yep.
Probably the Broncos.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's go with the Broncos because they're a good team, and I just want to see how they're going to respond after the way they went out last postseason. You know what I'm saying? I would want to see what they would do with the tougher schedule and what it would be like, and really put Peyton and those guys to the test to see if they can get back to the big game. See if they can do it.
I'm going to go with no opinion.
You can't do that.
I really don't care. I mean, I don't care who has the toughest schedule, who doesn't. It's the NFL. Every team is going to have tough games. They're going to have cupcake games.
And anyone can win on any given Sunday.
That's the thing. So to me, I can care less. But that's just me.
I know who I'd like to see have an easy schedule.
Yeah.
Falcons, baby. Let's go. Let's go, Atlanta Falcons. Am I the only one?
What?
Crickets?
I mean, I could you know what? That was one team in the NFL this year that I have to say I was very shocked by, and they were a team I thought was really developing, and with Matt Ryan leading them, I thought that they were really going to become something.
Yeah.
And
if he doesn't get it done this year,
right, then there's going to be a few changes made. Oh, that's Darius. So next year, even though he'll be graduated, we're going to have to keep a tally, because right now he says if Matt Ryan doesn't produce this year, you hear it here first, then he's gonna be let go. Okay.
That's what I'm going on the record saying. He's gonna be out if he doesn't.
I'm gonna go with no just because of the fact he's brought him to the postseason 5 years.
No, that's not good enough.
That's good enough.
You got Connor to talk about the NFL though, so that's a good thing.
Well, thanks for that, buddy. But
You're
we want more out of him. He can do more. I think.
No, he definitely
I believe in him.
But
yeah,
and he has the weapons around him. There's no excuse why we shouldn't be in a Super Bowl. We should be playing in a Super Bowl.
Are you on the team?
Am I? We Falcon Nation.
Falcon Nation.
He's a 200 string linebacker.
Well,
ready to go.
200 string?
Yep.
Jeez, I feel like I could do better than that. Maybe not. Who knows?
Well, let's go into the MLB because it's a little more relevant right now. I mean, other than it is schedule day. But one guy
I think schedule day is in 10 minutes, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
One guy that did leave his team, wasn't exactly out of Major League Baseball, but one guy that did, actually there's two that did that we're going to talk about. The first one is Albert Pujols. He was the first guy to hit .499 and number 500 home run in the same game. So what are your thoughts on Albert Pujols as an overall player? And let's also say, what are your thoughts of his career move to leave St. Louis?
Oh, he's leaving St. Louis?
You want to go for... He's on the Angels now.
Oh, jeez. This is news to me. My goodness.
Yeah, we just woke Darius up. He was asleep for the last couple of years.
I love Albert Pujols. No, I really do.
Rip Van Darius.
Van Darius? No,
so
man. Seriously.
In hindsight, though, now, what do you think for his move? And, I mean, now he's in the 500 club. He is going to be a Hall of Famer. What do you think, Connor?
No doubt.
I mean, I like Albert Pujols. I like him as a person. I've seen interviews that he's done. Every player does charity work, but I've seen charity work that he's done. Yeah. He's quiet enough of a player where he doesn't really create issues. I like that. So I like him a lot as a player. I think he was the third youngest player in MLB history to hit 500. Okay. So, I mean, he's got a lot more left. So we'll see where he goes.
Do you think he's joining 600 club?
Eventually, yeah.
600 club.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
700?
I don't know. It depends. That all depends on his health. But
if I guess, 5 to 10 years
34?
from now.
34?
I think he's 34. 33 maybe.
33.
This guy has been
between 5 and 10 years from now. I'm gonna guess right now how many home runs he's gonna end up with.
Okay, so we're gonna have to keep this tally too.
Yeah. If I get this right,
we're gonna keep it going.
If I get this right, Darius, you're buying me a nice filet mignon steak dinner.
I got you, bro.
Well, by then he should have a job. He's a few years ahead of us.
You and Ariel. I'll hook up the entire team.
646.
646. Wow. Now, if you get that, bro, I'm gonna have to do more than buy you filet mignon. It's gonna have to be something serious. I'm gonna have to buy you a Rolex watch or something. You're the man, yo.
Okay, well, another guy that left his team and is now shaking things up on his new team, you got Jacoby Ellsbury. He returned to Fenway for the first time yesterday since becoming a Yankee, which he didn't just go to any team. He went to the team, the last team that any Red Sox player or any Red Sox fan would want to see their player go to, and that's the New York Yankees. Yesterday, he led off the game with a triple and eventually scored on the next play, and he had a diving play that stopped some runs from scoring. So what do you guys think about Jacoby Ellsbury?
I am loving him right now.
You loving him?
I am absolutely loving him. I mean, I also loved Johnny Damon when Johnny Damon came over.
That was the dude right there, Johnny Damon.
I mean, even though I was negative 80 years old, I wasn't born yet. I love the fact that Babe Ruth came over too. No, but I loved when Johnny Damon came over. I think he did a lot for the team. He was fun to watch. I think Jacoby's kind of doing the same thing right now. He's fun to watch in the field. He's fun to watch at the plate. Yeah. He's doing big things. He's in 342 right now.
Big things.
Can't really complain.
What about you, Ariel? What do you?
I think that Jacoby Ellsbury, if he stays healthy, is going to be great for the team. I mean, when you look at the outfield that the Yankees have in certain games, when they have Ellsbury in center, Gardner in left, and Ichiro in right, that has to be the fastest outfield in the major leagues.
Oh, yeah.
There's no hole in there. They cover that entire outfield. And then also to have a leadoff guy like him, and we saw it last night, prime example, you have Jacoby Ellsbury lead off with a triple because he's that fast. And then you have Derek Jeter, who's Mr. Clutch, and can come in and have him score right the next second. So it's a great dynamic they have going.
That's what I love about Jacoby so far, too, is the fact that he goes back to Boston, hears the boos, shuts him up right away with the triple. First at bat.
That's exactly how you're supposed to do it.
That's what you have to do. You have to prove it with your play. You know what I mean?
And in parallel to that, what do you guys think about the Red Sox shaky start? They're in last place right now in the East.
I mean, they're in last place, but the East is always very strong in the AL. And I mean, they're 9-12 right now. Is that right? 9-12. So, and the Yankees are 12-8. So it's not that big of a difference between teams right now. Around the July time, if they're still in last place, I'll say, but.
Oh, well, a quick little update
they're 9-12,
now.
actually.
Quick little update. It looks like Pineda was thrown out of the Yankee game, and they found something on his neck that they appear probably to be maybe some sort of
pine tar or
pine tar.
Oh, wow.
So we are watching that live right now. And
breaking news from Sports Take.
Breaking news from Sports Take. Pineda thrown out of the game because of some sort of substance on his neck that we can't confirm, but we do know that there was the pine tar incident.
They were definitely looking
2 starts ago.
Yeah, they were looking from the last start. That's why.
On the neck.
What kind of advantage does that give you in baseball?
It gives a little more bite. It gives you more control. So
really?
if you're throwing like
you
a
could
curve,
grip the ball better.
So if you're throwing like a curveball, you can get more spin on the ball and more drop.
A lot of the guys use it mildly, especially in cold games, because of course you lose the feeling in your fingers in a cold game. But when it's made obvious, because I mean a lot of pitchers, if you talk about it to them, they say they use it.
Pretty much every pitcher does.
Right. But when it becomes obvious and it becomes too much, they speculate and then they catch.
I mean, how do you know when it's too much?
Umpire's decision, really. But the fact that
and sometimes you could see when they're leaning, when like Pineda in his last starting was rubbing things on his hand the whole time. They saw in a picture that someone took that his hand color was off, that there was something on his hand, and he kept reaching into his back pocket throughout the game, and now they said that there's something on his neck, and the umpires felt it. So probably a lot of the times a coach will say something, or the manager will say something, and they'll make the umps look at him.
See, and that's the thing, too. They usually don't throw out on, the first offense, but the fact that he did it 2 starts ago, and I think this last start, too.
Wow, so there wasn't as much speculation last time, but the first time there definitely was, and I mean that was on him. That's bad. But right now the Yankees are warming up a pitcher, so we'll see who it is when it comes back. But okay, so we have seen a bunch of Yankee-Red Sox brawls, and to me, 2004 was my favorite. I love watching that brawl. I could probably watch it with Pedro Martinez and Alex Rodriguez.
Dude charged him.
I think that one was earlier than that.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
There's a few. There's a few that went on.
Don Zimmer one, though.
There's one with A-Rod and Pedro. I love the Pedro Martinez era and the Yankees. Oh, my favorite.
Yeah, I
anyway,
love Pedro.
But
Who's
the
your
newest
daddy?
brawl.
Man Ram.
Who's your daddy?
Well, the Brewers-Pirates brawl just happened a few days ago, and the suspensions came out, but 3 of the 4 players appealed their suspensions to play in the next game. So what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I don't think it's that weird. Players will always appeal. You might as well. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to win in an appellate type of MLB court, but, I mean, it doesn't hurt to.
I mean, it's not that long of suspensions. Yeah. I mean, it was a maximum. I think the biggest suspension given was 5 games, and that was to the Brewers catcher, Martin Maldonado. But out of the 4 players, he's the only one that did take his suspension.
Oh.
But the other ones are 4 games, 1 game, 2 game. But do you think that players can be allowed to appeal these suspensions?
Yeah, why not?
And play in the next game to this team? And
yeah, why not?
I mean, I think it's only fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. The issue I have is the issue I've always had is that a lot of times the MLB will be the judge, the jury, the prosecutor, the executioner, every single position. So you appeal, who do you appeal to? Usually someone very highly affiliated with the MLB. Man. So, I mean, I don't really agree with that, but...
Yeah.
Darius, what do you think?
You might as well have the opportunity.
Just watching this brawl is crazy. I'm over here just watching it again and again. It's like, it's so bananas. Like, I don't think I've ever really seen anything this crazy. Like
my favorite brawl that's always in my head is when Coco Crisp charged the mound against the Rays and just absolutely dodged a haymaker from the pitcher and then came forward with a right jab right to the face.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of these guys were really getting clocked. It's crazy, man. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I hate to break this up right now, but I mean, we have to end the show. That is it. That's all we have for Sports Take. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Darius, for such a great year on Sports Take.
It's been a great year,
guys. It has been a lot of fun. Man. Our Wednesday, well, it started on Thursdays, now Wednesday night shows.
I don't know who I'd much rather do a show with than you guys, man.
It's
been a pleasure.
Yeah, same. Well, for here at Com Radio on Sports Take, I'm your host, Ariel Epstein, here with Connor DeKranis and Darius Donaldson. Stay tuned and for the show later on at 9 o'clock for the NFL Draft Road to Radio City here on Com Radio.
Yeah,
Enjoy your night, everyone.
And good luck, Darius.
Peace.